Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice. Simple steps for showing up. My name is Brad Draper, and I'm so fired up for this episode. I have been planning this episode, since last July. What is that? July, August, September, October, November. Three months, almost 4 months, I guess. I wanted to shoot it in July, so I've actually been planning it since before then, which is crazy to think about. If you recall back a few weeks, several weeks, I talk about this program that I've been wanting to do, and I've been putting it off simply because I didn't know all of the steps. Well, guess what? I thought I figured them out, and it was still a train wreck. And that's okay. What is the lesson to be taught? What is the lesson that I learned? The lesson is this: move forward regardless of how much you have ready to go, because you're going to be picking up pieces all along the way. This is the whole build the plane after you've launched, or build the parachute after you've jumped off the bridge type scenario. And this series, this is the very first one. This series will launch the third Thursday, I guess the last Thursday of every month, whatever that is. And I wanted to bring more to you guys, more to my audience, because I'm not full of all the answers. I don't have all the answers. In fact, I have a little bit, not much, but I do have an amazing network and amazing friends. And it was brought to my attention, and this idea came up with, what is the one question? One question that I can ask my friends and bring them on and have them answer for themselves, to bring on a different perspective, to change the lens, so to speak, and give you further insight that I did not necessarily have, or may be different from mine. So the one question for the month of October, and I will actually run this for a couple of months just to get other people's insight, is: what was the one thing you had to consider that when you considered it, you left what you were doing and started down the path you're on now? I am so excited for my very first guest on this series, on this episode of The Hard Choice. It'll air once a month, and it'll be an extra special topping on top of the cake, right? It's the special sauce. And the guest that I bring to you is a fairly accomplished gentleman. He is a father, he is a husband, he is a business owner, and I have known him since before he started his own businesses, when he worked for Coca-Cola and he was starting down the path of entrepreneurship. That's when we first met. It's been quite a few number of years, and I'm grateful to have known him. His name is Dusky Rogue. So without further ado, we're going to bring Dusky on here, let him introduce himself, and answer that question. What is it that you needed to consider? What question did you have that got you to leave your path and change the path? Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Brad Draper here with The Hard Choice, simple steps for showing up. And I have Dusky Rogue for you guys. A little bit about Dusky. He's an all-around baller. And he is that guy that makes everything happen, and you just hear his name everywhere. So I wanted to bring him on and ask him this question that I've already introduced, and give insight as to what drove him to leave where he was and doing what he's doing. So Dusky, have at it, man.
I didn't have a whole lot of options. I was going through a divorce at the time, and I decided that there was no better time to follow my dreams than starting all over, right? So when I was going through divorce, I was not only going to be giving up my house, giving up where I lived, but I decided that the same day that my ex-wife and I decided, okay, hey, we are getting divorced, we are done. I was going to go in and give my keys to my place of work and say I'm done and start anew. Be that I would, me being homeless, me being anything possible. I just decided that obviously the place where I was wasn't making me happy. So something else out there will bring me fulfillment if I just decide to say, stuff it, leave everything I know that is making me unhappy. I hated going to work. I was really, really good at my job, but I hated going to work, and said, you know what? It's now or never, because it's either I'm going to keep this job, stay in the city that I hate, and make good money, which probably would have propelled me financially even farther than maybe. Actually, that's not true. It would have kept me safe. It wouldn't have touched anything financially of what I make now. Um, the things I had to kind of consider is, what am I going to do? Where am I going to live? And what makes me happy? And I realized that the things that make me happy are people. I love people.
Yes.
I'm obsessed about people. That's
Yes.
I'm obsessed about helping people in any way I can. Even if that's mowing their lawn, even if that's just giving them some time to talk. I'm obsessed about people, so I had to do something with people, not necessarily do things with money.
Right.
Um, and then I realized that through time, um, I also realized that I needed to become a rock financially. And I had to ask myself if I was willing to take the pressure of becoming a rock for myself. Because obviously, I can't help anybody else, and I can't be about people if I'm struggling. And so
Definitely.
I had to get my house in order, and it all started to really hardly work out. When people say that, they usually say it worked out. I just followed my dreams. No, it sucked building it. I was lied to by people. I went through financial hardship. There was times where I'd be telling my wife everything's okay, and like I have negative $100 in my bank account, and um, those are all things that nobody really. People will tell you it was a struggle and it was hard, but hard means like you can't go back buy gas, you
Yeah.
can't buy a dollar hamburger. But through that, it worked out. And the things that you have to consider are you willing to live with nothing? Are you willing to be homeless? Are you willing to, be really sad and hurt at points? There's gonna be you're gonna fight things like being depressed. You're gonna fight things like um, feeling like you're worthless. Those are all things that you are going to feel. It's how you cope with them that makes you successful. It's how you work past those feelings that are going to make you a champion, because every champion has a moment where they're like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And then they rise to the occasion and they take it over. Adversity is is just a barrier between you being successful or you staying where you're at. So when you're I just had to consider all factors, because I slept on my dad's living room floor for 3 months before like anything really took off. And I slept on an air mattress with my newly divorced dad. Barely could pay him. I was like, hey, I'll pay, $300 for rent. I could barely do that. And tried to build something that I loved, and going through the journey of, I thought I was going to do X, and I ended up doing Z, because I understood that I wasn't made to be a photographer, videographer, or visual marketer. And actually, there's things that I didn't do in that job that made me bad.
Right.
I used those talents that I did know to help propel me into things I was good at, which I didn't know this at the time, but it was numbers, and how to manipulate numbers, and how to help numbers,
Right.
how to grow money. how to do those things. It took me a journey to get there. It wasn't like I'm really good at this. I had to
I love that.
learn. And so, yeah, there you go. There's my very long-winded answer.
No, not long winded. I appreciate the detail. And it's interesting. People don't talk about that journey aspect on where you've been. People say, oh, it was difficult. It was a struggle. But that's in the eye of the beholder, right? According to whom was the struggle? And when you start laying out real facts, this is how it
Mhm.
was for me. It really opens the perspective and helps people understand you're going to go through some stuff and you're not necessarily going to like it,
Yeah.
but you do that. My wife has a quote, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's the chief, let's see, the chief reason of failure is you are giving up what you want most for what you want now.
Yep.
And wow, that's sitting in our kitchen as a quote. It's framed on the table of our kitchen. So you walk right past it. And man, it hits home and it's true and it's
Yep.
real. And I've been there. We've been on a date and we were trying to figure out how we were going to gather enough money to pay our babysitter. We were on our date and we just looked at homes for Parade of Homes and it was a free date, right? But we still had a babysitter. We still made it a priority and we're like, oh crap, we're gonna have to pay this babysitter $45. We don't have $45 to push to her.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it? How are we going to
Mhm.
prioritize this? How are we going to make it happen? So I love that. For all those people listening, this is Dusky Rogue. Where can they find you? They like your stuff, connect with you. Where can they find you?
Man, duskyrogue.com. You can go on there. You can go to the very bottom. You can schedule a phone call with me. You can schedule a meetup with me. I'm all about the people. You can also go to Dusky Rogue on Instagram, DM me. What I'm gonna do, because I'm the number one thing I'm bad at is controlling my schedule, is I'm gonna send you my assistant's number and then she will get you FaceTime or a call with me. You're not gonna talk to somebody else. You're not gonna go through a sales and nothing. I don't sell. I just, if you want to talk to me, I want to talk to you. If you'll give me your time, I will give you mine.
I love that. Awesome, Dusky. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a
Heck
wonderful
yeah.
day. Let's get
Thank you,
after it.
Brad. We'll see you.
Bye.
Wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that phenomenal? I'm so grateful for Dusky and his time to set aside to talk with you, to give his insight and his knowledge for where he's been to where he's at now. He's doing quite successfully, and I'm so grateful to know him, and I love all that he is accomplishing. I was going to say I was proud of him, but that's a topic for another conversation. I am proud of him, but I'm changing my verbiage to reach a higher frequency. Little foreshadowing, shall we? Words are powerful. I am proud of him, but I love what he is doing and where he is going. If you ever want to reach out to him, as he said, Dusky Rogue on all platforms. That's also his website, duskyrogue.com. As for my answer, what did I have to consider? I was an executive at an 8-figure company, 7 figures, going on 8 figures, and I left. I was there 12 years. And the thing that I had to consider is, where are my goals and will the path I'm on take me there? The answer was, here are my goals. They are gargantuan, as yours should be too. And the path that I'm on, being an executive, a VP of operations at a laboratory that we had in multiple states, was not going to get me there. Most people, but we're not most people, right? Most people would change the goal. My path can't get me there. It's not in the cards for me. I can't achieve that. Screw that. You can achieve that. It is in the cards for you. Don't change the goal. Change the path. Don't change the goal. Change the path. I'm shaking my head. If you're watching YouTube, I'm shaking my head side to side. Do not change your goals. Change the path. And that is how you reach the goal. Analyze, take an audit. Where you are going based off where you are now and the path you're on now, will it get to where you want to be? Yes or no? That is what I had to consider. And ultimately, the answer was the path of the laboratory was not going to get me to where I wanted to be. Therefore, I had to leave. So I did. That is what I have for you guys today. That is the one question. This new series, airing the last Thursday of every month. I look forward to the people I have stacked up and ready to go that are so excited to share their answers to the questions that I've given them over the next little while. Have this conversation with your friends and family. What is the one question you have asked or need to ask to either stay on the path or leave the path you're on, to charter a new course? Share this with your friends. That's the only way this show grows. Like it, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.